Welcome to part 2 of the complete history of Fortnite Chapter 1. In the first part of this two-part series, we covered events from the meteor hitting the Fortnite island all the way to Season 7, where a ferocious prisoner escaped and is now running loose on the island. Be sure to check out part 1 if you haven't yet, and come back to this video once you've watched it. A ton of events took place, and we're about to unveil the rest of what happened in Chapter 1 in Fortnite. Once the winter event was over, the snow melted all over the map and led to the prisoner escaping from his iced prison dungeon. Slowly but steadily, the prisoner started to take control in various parts of the map, and more earthquakes occurred all over the map. Season 8, The Treasure Hunt. In the start of Season 8, a volcano is spotted in the north side of the map, and this happens to be where the prisoner, aka the Fire King, resides. The humidity caused by the volcanoes helped in creating jungle-like POIs surrounding the volcano. A ton of new POIs popped up, which led to the rumor that there is a hidden ancient treasure lying somewhere deep on the island. The news of this so-called treasure led to privates from outside entering the island and slowly started to occupy the key edges of the map. Over time, many pirate outposts were found on the map, signifying that the pirates had no intention of leaving the island anytime soon. Clearly, they too were in the hunt for the hidden treasure. Meanwhile, the Ice King also joined the hunt for this ancient treasure by taking over Snobby Shores and turning it into a Viking outpost. When more of the ice melted from polar peaks, it unveiled a village called Viking Village, and this seemed to be the spot the Ice King ruled over. With the Viking Village and its soldiers available to the Ice King now, they gathered a team to hunt for the treasure as well. Now we have a triple threat situation where the Ice King, Fire King, and the pirates are all a threat to each other. The rivalry between the Ice King and Fire King already existed in the previous season, and now it's pretty clear why they were fighting each other, and why they came to the island in the first place. When we thought we were bound to see another epic fight take place on the island, many spotted multiple digging sites all over the map, and a big one near Loot Lake. Loot Lake already had a reputation for hosting season special live events, and what was about to happen was nothing short of spectacular. The big site near Loot Lake was constructed of indestructible metal, and it seems to be a vault hiding something very special within it. A few weeks passed by and another spectacular live event took place. The event was named the Unvaulting Event, in which players were teleported to another dimension and were given the option to bring back one of their most favorite weapons, which was vaulted in the previous seasons. Players were given 6 options and they chose the drum gun to be unvaulted. While the players were in the alternate dimension, they spotted something called the Nexus Orb. Also, while going close to the orb, you could hear announcements of a 0-point collision coming soon. We had no clue what this was being referenced to, but it didn't take long for the players to figure out what was really going on. The Nexus explodes, sending the players back to the island, and all of a sudden, the island seems to be possessed with an overload of energy. This leads to a huge volcanic eruption. And by huge, I mean massive. Boulders of lava are launched into the sky, and it eventually takes down a ton of POIs, including the iconic Tilted Towers. With this utter chaos and destruction taking place all over the map, we come to the end of Season 8. Season 9. Catus, the Devourer. Season 9 starts out with caveman-style Jonesy and the Banana Skin waking up to what seemed to be a completely new world. It seems like a lot of time has passed in Season 8, and a ton of changes has taken place. Neil Tilted replaced Tilted Towers, and it looked like it was from the future. Apart from that, remains of the volcano were turned into pressure plants. During all this time, Polar Peak took a ton of damage from the volcanic eruption, and the majority of Polar Peak melted during these times. As weeks passed, players spotted an eye of a monster at Polar Peak. It was confirmed that there was a monster hiding beneath Polar Peak. The island was in shock and everyone seemed to be in a panic. This was when players noticed that the remains of the volcano, which was now pressure plant, turned into a place where the greatest minds on the island got together to build the ultimate robot to fight the monster. Because of the eruption in Season 8, the monster woke up from its deep sleep that probably lasted for centuries. There were signs of wear and tear in major POIs like Salty Springs. The monster was out there searching for what we assume is the 0 point. Meanwhile, the robot construction was seen on the map in its various stages. And finally, when the day arrived, it was ready for its fight with Catus the Devourer. What we witnessed after this was a masterclass from the graphics team in Fortnite. The whole fight between the monster and Catus was held as a live event, and the fight probably lasted longer than anyone expected. By the end of the fight, the robot is able to take the monster down by piercing a sword through its skull. The remains of that battle are seen in the early weeks of Season X. After the fight, details of the sword that killed the monster were revealed, and it was made by a person named Singularity. She was in charge of defeating the monster, and apparently she was aware of everything that was happening on the island all along. The energy from the Nexus Orb was used in the sword to take down the monster. But after defeating the monster, in a few weeks, the orb becomes unstable again and starts making changes to the whole island yet again, marking the start of Season X. Wait a minute! Before we proceed further, our channel stats show that literally none of you are subscribed to the channel. If you like what you watched so far, we have a ton of similar lore, fan theories, and storyline updates relating to multiple games from multiple genres. From multiplayer titles to horror titles, we've covered a ton of backstories relating to all of them. We've got a dedicated team working on individual titles so that our viewers know what they are playing and can enjoy it to the fullest. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to our page, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you have notifications turned on. We have lined up a long list of videos for you, so stay tuned. Now back to Fortnite, Season X, the Black Hole Season. The instability of the orb leads to changes in the map yet again. A ton of changes were seen through this season. The Visitor and his rocket laboratory made a return. From past season events, we are aware of the fact that the Visitor travels through different timelines and is trying to figure out a way to get himself out of a loop. He seems to be stuck in this time-traveling loop that is driving him mad. Over the course of this season, he places multiple rift beacons all over the map, causing major changes throughout the map. The rift beacon also brought back a ton of elements that were there in the previous seasons. We saw the return of the meteor from Season 4. It was getting really close to crash into the island, and it was getting closer day by day. Apart from this, the rift beacon also relocated the husks from Season 6 to Retail Row, and even restored Retail Row to what it looked like before the volcanic eruption damaged the POI. Also, let's not forget one of the OG crossovers to take place in the game, the Borderlands crossover. A rift beacon placed at Paradise Palms changed the place into a Borderlands-themed POI named the Pandora. This POI literally blew my mind. Every time we enter the Pandora City, the graphics would change in-game, and it was nowhere close to what Fortnite looked like at that point in time. Epic really used this crossover as an opportunity to showcase what the Unreal Engine technology was capable of. Now back to what was happening in the other parts of the island. Towards the center of the map, Tilted Towers becomes Tilted Town, and the Rift Beacon makes the whole town indestructible. Players could not break buildings to farm materials in this POI. In the same season, Tilted Town mutates and becomes Gotham City, allowing players to use grapplers and gliders redeploy in this particular POI. As the season ends, the meteor kept getting closer to the island, and it looked like it would crash into it at any minute. To deal with this, the Visitor makes 6 rockets, all with the objective to crash into the meteor and completely destroy it. The 6 rockets are launched, they collide with the meteor, but along with that, another explosion is caused by the unstable Nexus Orb. This whole sequence of events creates a black hole that sucks the whole island into it. Fortnite is now a black screen, with a big black hole right at the center of your screen, staring right at you. In short, the Visitor did it. He successfully saved the island, but at what cost? Was it all over? Apparently not. Fortnite continued with its lore and made it even better in its later chapters. But the OG chapter will always be remembered for the live events and the promise it showed for what video games could do in terms of deep storylines. With this, we come to the end of yet another amazing backstory. Fortnite was initially launched as a test project and later turned itself into the most played game ever. From what I understand, like many companies, Epic is also pursuing the dream of creating a metaverse where players can hop in and create their own maps, allowing for infinite possibilities. While most of the first 2 seasons of Fortnite had nothing planned in terms of a backstory, they later managed to create one, and it was way better than what anyone expected. The game closed its servers for more than 48 hours after the major black hole event, allowing for the whole Chapter 1 experience to be missed more than ever. Do you think the later seasons of Fortnite lived up to the hype of Chapter 1? Also, how was your experience reliving the OG map? Let us know in the comments below.